are we all met? My name is Leela Vox, Alexander. Translated in Hindu, it's the voice of divine play. It's a name that came to me when I was 30, and I realized I no longer fit in the skin I had been wearing. And looked in my closet, and nothing seemed familiar to me. The clothes seemed like they belonged to someone else. It's like I had walked into this experience of waking up into this body. And I began to discover some amazing teachers who began to infiltrate my consciousness and shift the way I saw the world. And when I felt very alone as an artist, like there's no one that would, quote, get me, I just imagined myself sitting in a circle with these amazing teachers. And in that process of meditation and writing, this poetry was born. I call it Embody, with mutterings of a teenage girl in her 30s. I know you'll listen to the words I have to say. I feel your consciousness deeper every day. With you, I do not feel afraid. In fact, I think I'll fly today without asking, if that's okay. See, old habits are more than hard to break. And there are regrets about mistakes for people injured in my wake. And sometimes when I'm up real late, I cry and love and contemplate and wonder, if I died today, if my body were to leave this place, would one who looked upon my face know the gift of seeing grace? These bodies all turn to decay. This earth is such a shaky place. Temporary is our stay, and we're all dying anyway. So why not make it count today? I used to love to be in pain, but now I see the little game. It's fun to watch the ego play, to scramble for another day before it all just falls away. Do you believe me when I say I left my body just today? Or do you start to get afraid and label me a crazy maid? Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. Songs like that, growing up in East Texas, were part of the soundtrack of my life. And the lesson was that women, especially, who were impassioned, were a little crazy. And what I've learned now is that those women were not crazy. They were simply trying to squeeze themselves down into a tiny little box that the genteel South asked them to be. Returning to the lotus posture, half lotus because I'm not quite that flexible. Who am I? I sit and ask, am I the one who loves to bask for hours on end in masculine attention? If I can see her, it must be that I am something more than she who sits and asks these never-ending questions. Consciousness chose me to be so that it could see through me. The wicked joy, the dark beauty, the dancing on the edge I see. The moment of awakening, the young winter, the aged spring. Yes, I said aged. Let's not be jaded. I remember once I stated that I hated one who loves to be elated, one inspired by living's inspiration. My heart was crushed beyond consolation, and so I resigned myself to be a lonely artist, to take my place among the dearly departed, misunderstood by my kin, keeping sunlight out, not in, dipping my spoon once again into the Ben & Jerry's. We laugh, but it is scary to think of our addictions. And I'll offer this prediction, and I'm not speaking fiction. Unless we make a drastic change in the way we choose to eat, see food as fuel and not just a treat, until we choose to look inside and feel the feelings eating hides and get swept under by the tide of giving up and living life and choosing not to be a slave like those who suffered in the sugar trade. Slavery still goes on today. If we don't see it, we're enslaved. If we don't rise up against self-destruction, initiate a massive reconstruction, learn to practice more self-care, stop the self-inflicted biochemical warfare, then one day we will find ourselves flipping through the pages of an antique book, and it will read about our time. The people wouldn't look at the history. They couldn't stop repeating. Rome had fallen. Empires are fleeting. Change can start with the way we're eating. Addicted to addiction. It can be to anything. From sweets to weed to an emotional feed. I've even been addicted to the lack of sleep and to blocking my own prosperity because that would interfere with my addiction to need. I'm grateful for the pain to see the patterns once enslaving me, and grateful now to know I'm free. And there's so much talk about freedom right now. Huge conversations. It would be an elephant in the room not to mention that right now there are people camping out right across from our courthouse here in Portland and all across the country and all across the world, and they're saying, freedom, I want to be free. There's the 99%. I can say I'm part of the 99%. And there's the 1%. And I have dear friends who are part of the 1%. The 99% plus the 1% equals the 100%, which we are all a part of. And there's no denying it. The moment I try to separate myself from the top high executive, CEO of a company, I strip that person of their humanity, and I deprive myself of a connection with every single being that lives and moves and has its being. And so I say we are the 100%, and we are a family, and we've been dysfunctional to be true. And I believe that there's healing that's happening, and I believe it happens when we speak what is true for us and let the chips fall where they may. It was not polite in East Texas to talk of unladylike things. Poetry asked me to be born. It's not my place to sit and scorn some words that some may view as porn, so I write freely words like fuck. My pen, my spirit, drink them up. I took the red pill by the cup, or was it blue? I can't remember. I started having ego tremors. I looked in the mirror. I saw a stranger. I felt a connection with that kid in the manger. And the guy who sat under the Bodhi tree, I had a feeling he too was also me, and also Ramana Maharshi. And Madonna, now Esther, she's also me. Do you feel the connection? Are you starting to see there's no separation? I'm you. You're me. Split-second discovery. Watching a squirrel go down by the creek, I closed my eyes so I could see the rocks beneath my furry feet. I fell away and was the beast. And then came the epiphany. Whether I'm a squirrel or a middle-aged girl, I'm the same at the source. I love this course of study in the human experience, and I disagree that ignorance is bliss. I think the one who said those words meant something more like this. Ignorance is easy. There's very little resistance. In fact, it is encouraged at our culture's insistence. People unaware are easy to manipulate. Power is found in the moments when we contemplate. Some will call me a hypocrite. They'll say, this woman is unfit to talk on the subject of spirituality, but they'd be wrong because in reality, labels are our favorite malady. Who are you? Are you what you do? Is making money your profound truth? We all have trouble seeing through the snow. It gets between us and the we want to know. In the end, we see it all just like a TV show. Friends and family start to go, and our pace, without effort, starts to slow, and something deep inside us knows we'll soon be dust, the wind that blows. So why not just relax and know what wisdom has to tell us? Our egos will fail us and often derail us, all the while leading us home to the center of ourselves where pure awareness dwells, and we drop the ego veil, give our souls room to sail in waters that will shake our big assumptions so we can progress and move forward for the young ones. Are you following me? Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? Are you with me? Yay. When I feel, let it in. It's then I begin to see the pain is external. It's not me, so I journal. So I can see the one who sees, the one who is eternity, the one that was before my birth, the one enrolled in a school called Earth. Each of us experiences pain from which we think we can't recover. And yet somehow, time and again, we rise to face another day in this existence. I'm resisting resistance. And I see it's quite a distance from myself and the one I thought I was. I've been wrong about a lot of things. I came along by remembering the being I was before my parents were conceiving me. Friend, I'm a woman of the wind, and I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I've been, and I know I won't go down those roads again. What if you and I could connect every day with every single other person on the planet? Every day. What if you and I could meet somewhere in the ethers every day and just send each other love, send each other gratitude, connection, knowing that we are somehow part of this macro organism called life? I had a vision that's now become a movement. 43 people strong on Facebook and growing. One for one at one. It's easy. Just take 1 minute every day at 1 o'clock to be in oneness with each other. 60 seconds a day, and it can change the planet. Whatever time zone, as you travel the planet, as you vacation and as you tour around, wherever you are, set your watch, set your phone. At 1 o'clock local time zone, wherever that may be, let's meet in consciousness for just 60 seconds. One for one, at one. And in doing so, we create an energy, an orbit around the globe. Do you see that? Do you feel that? The possibility in that, how big that is? John Lennon asked us to imagine. He laid the groundwork down for us. Imagine. What if we just imagined at 1 o'clock every day, one for one, at one? Imagine all of those things that John sang about. This music is so amazing and so hypnotic and so peaceful. We're going to clash it up a little bit and see how we meet somewhere in Eastern music and East Texas upbringing. I wear the makeup I want to wear. Though some say it's too much, my question is, why do they care? Projection is their crutch. How much of what annoys us is not in someone else? The one who makes us crazy is one and the same ourselves, and it doesn't matter where we travel to dwell. The human experience can be a traveling jail. And freedom can't be found in some far-off place. It's the final frontier. It's inner space. Inner space. I've decided to be loud and clear. If I meet any critics, open your ear. One who understands is one who gives, and one who gives is one who lives a life of gratitude. Choose the attitude. Elevate your spiritual latitude. For years, I struggled with depression. That's what happens when we don't use self-expression. I lived in fantasy looking for the oh, wow. And now I see that there's no oh, wow. There's only now. But when I live in the now, it's all oh.